Alright, we are back again with another episode of this series where I am covering the commander decks that I have built and own, cataloging them and doing a deep dive. Well, not deep dive, I'm kind of just reading off the cards, but I don't know if this is really interesting or not, but I'm just going to keep doing it since I've already started this series, and I might as well get through all of the decks. Today's episode is going to be Merfolk. I do believe it's slightly stronger than my Goblin deck. The Goblin deck is kind of one note, so to speak. It's pretty much play Goblin, smash face. Whereas Merfolk has a little bit more going on, and I think it has a little bit more utility, a little bit more ability to kind of bounce back from certain situations. So, let's get into it. Once again, we've got mana flip box, blue this time, of course, and we will just get right into it. Our commander this time around is going to be Kopala, Warden of Waves. Though I should note that that will be changing very soon. And that is because there was a new Merfolk that was just announced for Modern Horizons 2. Give me just a second. Where did it go? I know there was one in here. Sorry about this. Yeah. Okay, so Svelian of Sea and Sky is a 3-drop double blue Merfolk God, legendary creature. Svelian of Sea and Sky has indestructible as long as you control at least 2 other Merfolk. When Svelian of Sea and Sky attacks, draw a card, and other Merfolk you control have Ward 1, which means that if they are targeted by a spell or ability, the opponent must pay 1 or the spell is countered. So that will be the new commander once that has released. Give me a good look at that. As good as you can see on my phone anyways. But in the meantime, we'll talk about Kopala. Kopala, Warden of Waves, is a 3-drop double blue legendary creature Merfolk Wizard 2/2. Spells your opponent casts that target a Merfolk you control cost 2 more to cast. Abilities your opponent activate that target a Merfolk you control cost 2 more to activate. So, kind of the same vein of abilities as the new one that we will be swapping this out with. Just keeping those Merfolk from being targeted removal. This isn't going to stop board wipes, unfortunately, but that's just life, unfortunately. We've got to just deal with it. Board wipes suck, but they're kind of part of Commander. Like before, we have a healthy batch of tokens. In this one, we're going to have a little bit different, though, because we've got our Merfolk Wizards. We've got a healthy supply of elementals. We've got the rest of them. The rest of them are all hexproof Merfolk. At one point, I was thinking about converting this into an actual like token generating Merfolk deck that actually focused on tokens, but I've moved away from that since then. That would have also ended up making this blue-green, where this is going to be mono-blue, obviously, by Kapala. So, with nothing else to talk about, let's get right into it. First up, we have Misdirection. This is a 5-drop double blue, instant speed. You may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay Misdirection's mana cost. Change the target spell with a single target. Very niche, kind of hard to anticipate like where that's going to be useful, I guess. But usually that's probably just going to be like a kill spell. You're just going to redirect a kill spell. So that's fun. Sleep, which is kind of like a game ender. 4-drop double blue sorcery, tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures don't untap during that player's next untap step. So I guess not a game ender, but it's gonna probably kill at least one player. Because you're not gonna be the only one taking advantage of their untapped creatures. Curse Catcher, 1-drop blue. Merfolk Wizard 1/1, sacrifice Curse Catcher, counter target instant or sorcery unless its controller pays 1. Just a nice thing to have on the board to kind of pose a threat without really having to do anything. Rites of Replication, 4-drop double blue sorcery, kicker of 5, making it a total of 9 if you kick it. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. If Rites of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield. This is nuts. There's never going to be a situation where that doesn't just, like, absolutely help you a fuck ton. 2-drop artifact, Sapphire Medallion. Blue spells cost 1 less to cast. Razorfin Abolisher. 3-drop blue. Merfolk Wizard. Dropped it. 2/2. You can pay 2, including a blue, and tap it to return target creature with a counter on it to its owner's hand. If you're going up against an opponent who plays a lot of like goofy counter-based nonsense, that can be really fun for sending them back to their hand and shit like that. It also doesn't state specifically what kind of counter on it, so if they're ever using like say like a Phylactery Lich or Kindred Boon or what is that new land from Kaldheim, the one that makes them indestructible? I don't know. Anywho, fun to just kind of get rid of that stuff. Triton Shorestalker, 1-drop blue, Merfolk Rogue, 1/1. It can't be blocked. Very useful for getting some damage in. Cage Sun, 6-drop artifact. Enters battlefield, choose a color. Creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+1. Whenever a land's ability causes you to add 1 or more mana of the chosen color, add 1 additional mana of that color. There wasn't a Cage Sun in Goblins. I need to resolve that. That needs to be fixed. I will take care of that right away. On camera, no less, because I'm a fucking monster. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause that. Alright, anywho. We'll get that fixed. Make sure that Goblins has Cage Sun. That'll probably be a good place to replace the card that had to be removed in the last video. Man, that's a land pocket right there. Just in case you're wondering, if it ever seems like I'm like going through multiple cards, it's because they're just basic lands. I'm not gonna go ahead and like be like Blue Island from Dominaria. It's no point. These videos would be so much longer, and they're already way too long. I don't know if any of you are actually sitting through all like 30-40 minutes of these videos. I kind of hope you are, but I totally understand if you're not. I imagine maybe you're just putting this on in the background, if you're even watching it at all. Negate. 2-drop, 1 blue, instant, counter target non-creature spell. It's a blue deck, so it's going to have some counters in it. This is the only blue deck I own, so, or at least this is the only mono blue deck. Mindspring. 2-drop blue with X, draw X cards at sorcery speed. Anticipate. 2-drop blue instant. Look at the top 3 of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's kind of like a slightly better opt, which I don't have any in this deck, which is fine because opt I personally think is a very underwhelming card. If I could pay half a mana for opt, maybe I would, but I don't think it's worth it, honestly. Tempest Caller, 4-drop, double blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. So it'd be a lot better if I had flash, but we work with what we got. Merfolk Sky Scout, 4-drop, double blue, Merfolk Scout, 2/3. With flying, when it attacks or blocks, untap target permanent. Very useful, because you could just pick a land. Doesn't say non-land. Coral Helm Guide, 2-drop blue, Merfolk Scout Ally, 2/1, with 4 and a blue. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Kind of expensive to do that effect, but it's a very cheap creature to get out on the field, and I don't know, it looks cool, I guess. There is the rule of cool when it comes to deck building, for me at least. There's a lot of times where, like, I'll put a card in a deck just because I like the card a lot. One of my favorite Merfolk, Lord of Atlantis, and this is the Judge promo. There's kind of a little bit of a story behind that. I hate old border cards. Anything pre-8th edition, actually even 8th edition since it has a white border, don't care for it. I like the black borders. I like the newer text boxes. I really like the hollow stamps that they started adding in 2015, Core 15, so actually it was 2014, so M15. But anywho, double blue, Merfolk, 2/2, other Merfolk, get +1/+1, and have Island Walk. Kind of wish my camera would focus better. I'm not sure there's a good way to do that, well, with it being a webcam, but honestly, there's no way I could record videos of this length on my phone. It just wouldn't work. It would, like, turn off on me or something. I've done it before, but it's so inconsistent that I would end up eating up so much time. Aquatex Will, 1-drop blue, tribal sorcery Merfolk, which means it is technically a Merfolk spell. It'll count for Merfolk counts. Put a flood counter on target land. That land is an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. If you control a Merfolk, draw a card. So this card's cool because you can use it to reveal a Merfolk for, say, like Silvergill Adept. Good stuff. Fallow Sage, 4-drop blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/2. Whenever Fallow Sage becomes tapped, you may draw a card. It's going to become tapped every time you attack with him, so as long as you're able to attack with him, you'll get a card. Stony Brook Angler, 2-drop blue, Merfolk Wizard, 1/2, with 1 and a blue, tap it, you may tap or untap target creature. Very useful. Very useful. Kindred Discovery. 5-drop double blue enchantment, enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You're going to choose Merfolk. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Real good stuff. 1-drop blue, Spell Pierce. Instant. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. You're gonna need to use this very early in the game, or it's going to stop being useful. I guess there are going to be niche situations where your opponent maybe uses every little bit of their mana and then squeezes out like a last-minute spell that's going to win them the game. Spell Pierce it, baby. Merfolk, 3-drop, 1 blue. Merfolk Soldier, 2/2. Other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1, and this is probably one of the most important abilities in Merfolk. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. This card's nuts because of that. In Commander, it's not as good because you can't have 2 of these, but in Modern or probably even like Legacy or whatever, I'm not sure, I don't play Legacy or Vintage, you get 2 of these on the field, and suddenly shit starts getting nuts. Especially if you put that with Stony Brook Banneret, start casting free spells. Even getting mana back for free spells. Why am I showing you an island? I'm losing my mind. Aether Vial, 1-drop artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Aether Vial. Tap Aether Vial, and you may put a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Aether Vial from your hand into play. That's going to be at instant speed as well, so that's fun. Master of Waves, 4-drop blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/1, protection from red. Elemental creatures you control get +1/+1 when Master of Waves enters the battlefield. Create a number of 1/0 blue elemental creatures equal to your devotion to blue. So, save him for when you have a lot of devotion. Don't just play him as soon as you get him. Be strategery. Have some stratagem. Rootwater Hunter, 3-drop blue, Merfolk, 1/1. You tap it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. That's pretty useful because sometimes there can be some really pesky shit out there, like Death Touch, that you just don't want to swing in for. It's an island. I'm losing it. Infinite Reflection, 6-drop enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Infinite Reflection enters the battlefield attached to a creature. Each other non-token creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. Non-token creatures you control enter the battlefield as a copy of enchanted creature. It gets stupid. It just gets so stupid. Just use that on, say, Merfolk, and see where life takes you. Color of Gales, 1-drop blue, Merfolk Wizard, 1/1. You pay 1 and a blue and tap it. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. Just a little bit of evasion to get some damage through. Metamorphic Alteration, 1-drop, 2-drop, 1 blue. Enchantment aura. Enchant creature. As Metamorphic Alteration enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of chosen creature. This is good because it says a creature, so that means you could actually copy one of your opponent's creatures if they happen to have something that's nastier than what you have, which could be possible if they're playing like dragons or demons or angels or anything like that, any of those big beefy beefcakes. Merrill Harbinger, a 4-drop red, 2/3 Merfolk Wizard with Island Walk. Merrill Harbinger comes into play. Search your library for a Merfolk, reveal it, shuffle your library, and put that card on top. This works good for tribals as well. So Merrill Commerce might be another one you grab instead of an actual creature. Jeep Channel Mentor, 6 drop, 1 blue, Merfolk Rogue, 2/2. Blue creatures you control are unblockable. I think that's kind of like the blue version of Bloodmark Mentor that gives first strike to the goblins. Wanderwine Prophets, probably the most powerful Merfolk in the deck. 6 drop, double blue, Merfolk Wizard, 4/4. Champion a Merfolk, which means you exile a Merfolk, and then Wanderwine Prophets kind of goes like on top of it. And whenever Wanderwine Prophet deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a Merfolk. If you do, take an extra turn after this one. Extra turns are one of the most valuable things you can get in the game of Magic, so you're seriously going to be getting some value out of that if you can get it through. And there's a lot of ways to give Merfolk evasion, so take full advantage of that. Spreading Seas, 2 drop blue, enchantment aura, enchant land. When Spreading Seas enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted land is an island. Sigil Tracer, 3 drop double blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/2. With pay 2, including a blue, tap 2 untap wizards you control. Most Merfolk are also wizards. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Not a lot of instants and sorceries in here, but the ones that are in here, pretty good. Might be a counter for a counter or something like that. River Sneak, 2 drop blue, Merfolk Wizard, no, Warrior, sorry. 1/1, River Sneak can't be blocked. Whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, River Sneak gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Essence Scatter, 2 drop blue, instant, copy target creature spell. Counter target creature spell, I don't know why I said copy. Lonely Sandbar, blue cycling with enter the battlefield tap. Stony Brook Banneret, another one of the best Merfolk in existence. 2 drop, 1 blue, Merfolk Wizard with Island Walk and 1/1. Merfolk spells and wizard spells you play cost 1 less to cast. This is one of those game enders. Mass Manipulation. 4 drop blue, 2x, gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers at sorcery speed. It feels really bad. Not just for me personally, the player who's using this card, but I'm sure it feels really terrible to be on the receiving end of this, where you just spent an entire turn playing a bunch of spells and using up all your mana just to have someone use one spell and take it all. I can't even imagine. It must suck. Merrill Commerce. 2 drop blue, tribal enchantment Merfolk, which means this does count as a Merfolk. At the end of your turn, untap all Merfolk you control. Super good. Allows you to swing in and still maintain blockers. Deep Root Waters. 3 drop blue enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. You're already going to be playing Merfolk anyway, so it's really nice to have. Herald of Secret Streams. 4 drop blue, Merfolk Warrior, 2/3. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. Not a lot of ways to get +1/+1 counters on Merfolk in this deck, but very good way to take advantage of the ones that do. 3 drop double blue, True Name Nemesis, Merfolk Rogue, 1/1. As True Name Nemesis enters the battlefield, choose a player. True Name Nemesis has protection from the chosen player. Woolmage Mentor. 3 drop double blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/2. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may put a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token onto the battlefield. Tap 7, untap Merfolk you control, counter target spell. This will be a lot better with the new commander, because the new commander has Ward 1, or gives all Merfolk Ward 1, which means that every time one of those Merfolk counters a spell, it's going to count as an ability towards this, and you'll get another Merfolk token. So, dangerous things to be dealing with for your opponent. Engulf the Shore, 4-drop blue, instant. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. You'll probably end up sending a lot of your creatures back to your hand too, but if the alternative is getting board wiped, or worse, losing the game, that's a good way to save some of your creatures. Tempt with Reflections, 4-drop blue, sorcery. Tempting Offer. Choose target creature you control, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. Each opponent may put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. For each opponent who does, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. This just gets stupid. Like, if your opponents know better, they probably won't choose to take the token, but it can be really, really, really tempting if the creature is good. Especially because yeah, it's just for free, basically, for them. Coralhelm Commander, 2-drop double blue. I suppose I should actually show it a little bit. It's a level up card. So you level up by paying 1. Starts out as a 2/2. When you level it up to 2 or 3, it gains flying and +1/+1, making it 3/3. And when you level it up to 4 or higher, which you wouldn't go higher. There's no reason to. It gains flying, which it already had flying from level 2, and also gets up to 4/4, and other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1. So it ends up becoming a lord. Levels itself up into a lord. Thassa's Oracle, 2-drop double blue. Merfolk Wizard, 1/3. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to 1 of them on top of your library, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. Probably are not going to do the win con on this in Commander, at least not very often. But it's a good filter card nonetheless. Cancel. 3-drop double blue. Instant speed, counter target spell. Pretty simple. Wake Thrasher. This guy can become very monstrous. Not literally monstrous, because that's a mechanic, but 3-drop 1 blue, Merfolk Soldier, 1/1. Whenever a permanent you control becomes untapped, Wake Thrasher gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So if you've got Merrow Commerce on the field, that means he's gonna get quite a bit just about every turn, even during your opponent's turn. At least one of your opponent's turn, your first opponent's turns. Soul Ring, you know what it is, baby. I'm just gonna say that for every episode. I'm just gonna say that same line. Talrand Sky Summoner, 4-drop double blue, legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard, 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. The Drakes aren't really going to help for the Merfolk tribal thing, but they will help with dealing with fucking flyers, which is something that Goblins doesn't do as well, and Elves are fucking terrible at dealing with. Harbinger of the Tides, 2-drop double blue, Merfolk Wizard. 2/2, you may cast Harbinger of the Tides as though it had flash, if you pay 2 more to cast it, which would make it a 4-drop. When Harbinger of the Tides enters the battlefield, you may return target tapped creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Triton Tactics, 1-drop, blue instant. I just threw it. Up to 2 target creatures each get +0/+3 until end turn. Untap those creatures. At this turn's next end of combat, tap each creature that was blocked by one of these creatures this turn, and it does not untap until its controller's next untap step. A combat trick in a Merfolk deck, so kind of weird, but it can really slow your opponent down a little bit. Title Courier, 4-drop blue, 1/2 Merfolk. When Title Courier enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Merfolk cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You can pay 4 and give Title Courier flying until the end of turn. Sage of Fables, 3-drop blue, 2/2, Merfolk Wizard. Each other wizard creature you control comes into play with an additional 1/1 counter on it. You can pay 2 and remove a 1/1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card. This is going to be one of the few cards that actually does generate 1/1 counters. So it'll be really great with that previously mentioned Merfolk. Scroll Thief, kind of a classic. 3-drop blue, Merfolk Rogue, 1/3, deals combat damage, draw a card. Deep Tread Marrow, 2-drop blue, Merfolk Rogue, 2/1, pay a blue, gains Island Walk, till the end of turn. Very good. Very good. Master of the Pearl Trident, 2-drop blue, Merfolk, 2/2. Other Merfolk you control have 1/1 and Island Walk. Get +1/+1 Island Walk. Merfolk Sovereign, 3-drop double blue, Merfolk, 2/2. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1, and you may tap it to give target creature, Merfolk creature, unblockable for the turn. Aquatic Incursion, 4-drop blue enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 blue Merfolk creature tokens with hexproof, and you can pay 4 to give target creature unblockable for the turn. Halimar Depths. This basically does the same thing as Anticipate, except it's on a land. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 of your library, put them back in any order. Good way to make sure that if you're about to draw some cards, you get what you want. Silvergill Adept, 2-drop blue, Merfolk Wizard. 2/1, as an additional cost, reveal a Merfolk from your hand, or pay 3, which you're almost never going to do. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And that sun is just coming right in there, isn't it? I'll try and hurry here. Concentrate, 4-drop double blue. It's a sorcery. Draw 3 cards. Phantasmal Image, 2-drop blue, illusion creature, 0/0. We have Phantasmal Image enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it's an illusion in addition to its other types. And it gains, when this spell becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. This is another one of those spells that's going to come really handy with the ward mechanic on the new Merfolk. And it does also help out a lot with Kopala now, but it'll be better with the new god. Streambed Aquatex, 3-drop double blue, 2/3 Merfolk Scout. You may tap it to give target Merfolk creature +1/+1 and Island Walk until the end of turn, or you can tap it to give target land island until the end of turn. Sentinel of the Pearl Trident, 5-drop blue, Merfolk Soldier, 3/3 with Flash. When Sentinel of the Pearl Trident enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic permanent you control. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. That might be good for a legendary that you have that maybe needs protected for something. I don't know. It's mostly just a Merfolk. Seafloor Oracle, 4-drop double blue. 2/3. Whenever a Merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It is a Merfolk Wizard. Merfolk Trickster, 2-drop double blue. Merfolk Wizard with 2/2 Flash. When Merfolk Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls, loses all abilities until end of turn. It can be very handy, especially if you're targeting something like Platinum Angel. Rewind, 4-drop double blue. Instant, counter target spell, untap up to 4 lands. And with the sun shining in as bright as ever, that will be a close to the Merfolk deck. So, sorry for this blinding light. I'm sure that's really fucking annoying. Stay tuned for the next episode. I think I'm going to be covering elves. I really like elves, so maybe it won't be elves. It might be a different deck, but it also might be elves. I have to really think about this. So, join me next time.